Today is May 19th, 2026. Trump's announcement that a scheduled military strike on Iran has been postponed at the request of 3 Gulf Arab leaders is not being treated as de-escalation, but as the final diplomatic window before a major escalation. The turning point is described as the day the ceasefire died. The ceasefire did not simply expire, it collapsed after an IRGC decision to fire on a humanitarian maritime operation intended to free roughly 20,000 sailors trapped in the Strait of Hormuz for over 2 months. That action triggered a chain reaction of escalating military and political responses across the region. Before that breakdown, the ceasefire had served both sides strategically. The United States used it to reposition and reinforce forces in the region, including multiple carrier strike groups, advanced fighter deployments, drones, and special operations units. Iran used the pause to rebuild missile capabilities, restore mobile launchers, and stabilize internal pressures under worsening economic strain caused by the blockade and sanctions. The trigger event was a US-led maritime operation, Project Freedom, aimed at escorting trapped civilian and commercial vessels through the strait. Iran activated radar systems and issued warnings, but the operation continued. IRGC fast boats then moved toward escorted commercial shipping rather than US warships, escalating the situation without directly engaging American naval forces. Helicopters from US destroyers responded and destroyed several Iranian fast boats after they were assessed to be harassing civilian vessels. This rapid engagement highlighted a major asymmetry in capability and control of the maritime space. Iran then escalated further by striking regional infrastructure rather than directly attacking US forces. The most significant strike hit a major UAE energy export bypass terminal that had been designed to reduce global dependence on the Strait of Hormuz. This attack caused major explosions, civilian injuries, and immediate spikes in global oil prices.
This move is described as strategically self-defeating. Instead of targeting military assets, Iran struck infrastructure that represented an alternative energy route, effectively undermining its own leverage over global oil flows. The regional response escalated quickly. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Oman moved from strategic restraint toward potential retaliation after repeated strikes on their territory and infrastructure. Emergency defense postures were activated, and coordination between Gulf states intensified. The situation began shifting from a US-Iran conflict toward a broader regional alignment against Iran. Internally, Iran's diplomatic messaging continued to deny certain attacks while military actions were ongoing, creating visible contradictions between diplomatic statements and battlefield realities. This suggested fragmentation in command structure, or at minimum, a breakdown between military decision-making and diplomatic communication. China, a major economic partner of Iran, publicly urged de-escalation and emphasized the importance of returning to negotiations, signaling limits to its willingness to shield Iran diplomatically after the latest escalation. From there, the conflict entered a high-risk phase. Multiple possible escalation paths emerged, including direct Gulf retaliation, renewed large-scale US-Israeli strikes, or a formal regional coalition entering the war under collective self-defense frameworks. By May 19th, US forces in the region are described as heavily reinforced, including carrier groups, strike aircraft, electronic warfare platforms, and special operations forces positioned for potential high-intensity operations. Iran's remaining capabilities are described as significantly degraded but still capable of asymmetric attacks, missile launches, and maritime disruption. The current situation is defined by a temporary pause created by Gulf Arab leaders asking for more time. That pause is framed not as peace but as a final opportunity for a diplomatic outcome before a previously scheduled military operation resumes or expands. The core logic of the situation is that each escalation has reduced space for negotiation. Maritime attacks led to naval destruction, infrastructure strikes triggered regional alignment, and each response has tightened the timeline toward either a broader war or a last-minute political settlement. As of now, the postponement is the last remaining buffer between a rapidly escalating regional confrontation and a final diplomatic attempt to contain it.